let me ask you a question. Like, so when you guys did All In, obviously your expectations for All In right off the bat were a certain number, and then you guys, blew it completely out of the water by selling out in 28 minutes. And I want to equate that kind of to the cigar thing that you're doing with Frankie, which I think is awesome. Is the cigar gig going as well as you thought it would have done? Has it exceeded expectations?
Oh, for sure. Our partner, Aaron Goldbranson, who's the one who's helped us box and wrap, the one who's kind of put together the presentation on American Rebel cigars, it's exceeded my expectations. When I did the unboxing for my Instagram folks, I was like, it blew my mind. Just if you've ever walked into a humidor and wanted to pick out your smokes, and one of the best ways to get somebody's attention is like Gurkha is the king of it. Rocky Patel is also the king of it, is having a really strong presentation, a really great box, a great look, a great wrapper, and then you can really take it home if you've got a strong signature smoke. And he did all those things and checked all those boxes. And yeah, I'm so thrilled with it. And I don't want to encourage non-smokers to start smoking by any means, but I know there's a good deal of wrestling fans who like cigars, and we found that out at StarCast. We did an appearance the day after All In. That thing was just jam-packed, and it was a good experience. Plus, there's this cool whole kind of like brotherhood, sisterhood in the cigar community, where you pass sticks amongst each other, amongst manufacturers, amongst collectors, just avid smokers. I've had so many folks come up to me, hand me a stick, and I've handed them one in turn. I guess that's the etiquette behind it all. And that was something that was new to me. And I was real excited. Even when I was just in the UK, people were asking, and I had a box with me just in my backpack right by the table, and bam, I was excited to spread the American Rebel cigars. They're really good. Folks coming today will find that out. This ain't a bachelor party smoke. You're not going to get sick. You're not going to feel uncomfortable. They're just a medium. They're kind of like the common man smoke, and they're just really, really good.
And again, that's at the Soho Cigar Bar this afternoon. And those cigar bars are popping up all over the place. There's one near my house. They don't let me in, but there's one near my house. This is really a trend that's going on right now.
You might as well. You got to put them on the air. That was what you said earlier, right? Put them on the air. See what happens.
Oh, see, there it is. There's the nerd, Revenge of the Nerd laugh.
Right.
Hey, Cody, let me address the elephant in the room. And no, I don't mean Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, boy.
Bully After Dark. Awesome.
So you have gone on record in saying that Final Battle could be your last match in Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. Joe Koff has gone on record saying this could be your last match in Ring of Honor. No matter what can fans expect from you and Jay Lethal in the middle of that ring come tomorrow night?
Well, the show is stacked, and you know that. You're on the show yourself, you and Flip, and the Ladder War match, Matt Taven, Dalton Castle, the Women of Honor Championship. I think what fans can expect from Jay and I in one word is passion. But it's passion in different ways. Jay is so passionate about Ring of Honor. He loves it. He's a company guy, and that sounds like I'm making fun of him. I'm not. He loves to carry that banner and wave it proudly, and his family will be there cheering him on. And I am passionate about just pro wrestling in general and the industry, and it's combustible what happens with Jay and I. So I think they're looking. It'll be an outstanding match. And if the elephant in the room is whether I'm staying, going, whatever it may be, Joe Koff and Greg at Ring of Honor have done just an outstanding job. My exclusivity ended with Ring of Honor long ago, and nobody knew it because we did everything based on a handshake deal. And I think that's great in 2018. Going into 2019, that business can still be done on a handshake. That trust can still go between the company and wrestlers. And those guys I can't say enough nice things about Joe and Greg from Ring of Honor. And tomorrow night, don't be shocked if the music you heard playing me in onto this show right now is the music you hear playing me out as Ring of Honor World Champion, I'm not going to abscond with the championship. If that's the case, I'm sure we'll be able to work out more dates on a handshake agreement. And this isn't a goodbye. It's not a goodbye until I say it's a goodbye. This is a final battle, and it's going to be lit, man. It's going to be great.
And Cody, you have a history with Final Battle and Jay Lethal. It was 2 years ago that you made your Ring of Honor debut at Final Battle against Jay Lethal. A lot of history, not only between you and Jay, but with Final Battle.
Yeah, this is the 2-year anniversary. Well, first time walking in Hammerstein ever. First time being part of Ring of Honor. This was the show. Final Battle was the show. I, looked to Brandy and said, I think we sign here. There's just a magic in the air, and New York makes it even all the more magical. But that match was kind of what defined the American Nightmare. When people are like, "Oh, what is this? Is it a moniker, a character, gimmick, whatever have you?" When I took my right foot and kicked him square in the dick, I think that's where we put in place exactly what the American Nightmare is. If there's rules, I'm not necessarily playing by them, and it's been great for Ring of Honor, and I've had a good experience since then. And Jay and I tussled one more time in Lakeland, Florida, in my family's match, and son of a bitch beat me with Dusty's cowbell, literally with Dusty's cowbell. So yeah, there's revenge on the mind. There's a receipt. I played the long game though, so it's been a long time coming. This is one I really look forward to.
Cody, 2 questions for you. The first one about Jay Lethal. Within Ring of Honor, do you believe that you've had the best chemistry in ring with Jay Lethal, or has there been somebody else that you feel brings the best out of you in that company?
I think Jay is one of the absolute best wrestlers in the world. There's backstage, you'll hear people all the time. If somebody has a great match with Jay Lethal, you're not going to pat him on the back, because if you can't have a great match with Jay Lethal, you suck. You might as well hit the road. I have a good amount of chemistry with Jay. I do, but I think everybody at Ring of Honor it's been different chemistry, if that makes any sense. In Philly, a few months, I had a really unique outing with Kenny King that surprised me. Over the past year, Matt Taven tries so hard to talk so much trash and be mean about me and the Bucks and all that. And the truth is, I like Matt Taven. I think he's good for wrestling. And I think he's one of the ones who's brought the best out of me, because it's very contrarian. It's very adversarial with him. That's one of those real things in the industry. But he's brought the best out of me. And I often consider him, I know he likes to say he's the real Ring of Honor World Champion. And I know that distinction belongs to Jay, but Matt Taven is proving it more and more with each outing. So I've always been very impressed by him.
So 1 second, Dave. Cody, going back to All In for a second, you were able to present the first All In while with Ring of Honor. Whether you stay with Ring of Honor or not, I'm assuming that we will get an All In 2 someplace down the road. So yes, no, and can you tell us anything about it?
If I was to say anything, I would have to sue my own self. So I all I can say is stay tuned to Being the Elite. It is such a terrible answer, and when I've told folks over the weekend, they wanted to boo me right to my face. But it's tough to speak for other people, as you know this. The fans might want something, but it is tough to give it to them unless you have all the pieces. And I don't know where everybody's going. I don't know what Kenny's plans are. I don't know what the Bucks' plans are. Hangman's plans. I can't speak for them, and I wish them the best in whatever they do. Now, do we want to stay together? I think so. But will we stay together? We won't know until pretty much the end of this month. Everybody has different goals and different directions they want to go. I know what I have in mind, and I think it'll make the fans happy. But we won't know. We won't know until January 1st.
So are you kind of trying to say that life has happened in the past couple of months? Because a couple of months ago, you guys went on record to say we're all in this together, and I think that's cool. But now it kind of sounds like, maybe we are going to go in our separate ways. Has something happened in the past couple of months that has you guys on different pages?
No, not necessarily. I think the Elite, breaking away from Bullet Club and becoming the Elite as a unit is a one way of sticking together. And we meant what we said. I meant what I said right there in front of everybody. I just know that you've just got to be honest with each other. No, life hasn't happened, and I think we have a similar mindset. But you can't force somebody down the path you want to go. It looks like we all want to go down the same path, but we really won't know. Really, probably until this weekend and seeing each other, and then Wrestle Kingdom, seeing each other and seeing which direction we're going to go. So it's vague and confusing what I'm kind of saying. The best I can say is just, I don't want to speak for anybody, and the best place for these answers is being the Elite. As silly and funny as being the Elite is, it also has, it follows our lives, and it'll show you where our lives are going.
Cody, Bully and I so much on this show talk about the health and the growth of pro wrestling outside the WWE, and I think there's no bigger example than 2018. But you look at that growth and that popularity, kind of coincides with what you've been doing. We talk about All In selling out and 11,000 fans and you winning that NWA championship. You talk about being the Elite and what the numbers that you're getting with that on YouTube. You talk about the Jericho Cruise and you being in the main event. It seems like just as much we talk about that health, we're talking about the name Cody Rhodes as well. Just talk about how big this year has been for you.
Well, I've been very lucky to be in that spot. I've been very lucky. I think in 2018, our expression in the family is do the work, but there's a difference between working hard and working smart. And I think I've just been the right place, the right time, and the right amount of work put in. And I'm like, all those things you mentioned, it's incredibly flattering, but this has been a groundswell. This has been brewing long before I joined the Bullet Club, and it's been going. It's been something that the Bucks have been cultivating. Colt Cabana himself was cultivating years and years ago. 2018, it was a huge indication of independent pro wrestling, and you can see now at the end of the year with WWE kind of acquiring as many things as they can and locking certain things out, that they're preparing for something. And WWE don't sell nothing. So if they're preparing for something, it means something is happening. And that I relish in, because I grew up watching WCW, WWF, ECW, Smoky Mountain. I mean, I was watching everything. And I hope that fans in the future can watch more than one company, or be proud of watching more than one company and more. Just, I hope there's just more variety and more options, just like there's been in 2018, just bigger.
Cody, the word friend. I don't use the word friend too often, and I think it's thrown around in the wrestling business way too loosely, because the business and the nature of the business doesn't allow us to become friends, so to speak, in the true tradition of the word. Your relationship with Nick and Matt, would you call those guys your true friends after the year that you have spent together?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And like you said, it's not an industry that is cohesive, and it doesn't often produce friends. They started as teammates, they became friends, and now it's almost like we're family. And we have absolutely polar opposite industries on the business, but we don't have polar opposite outlooks on our what we can do and what we may be capable of. So I absolutely would call them my friends, and Hangman Page too, and Kenny Omega, who I've spent the better part of the year, hitting over the head. Friends in wrestling means something different, and I'm glad and proud to have those guys as friends. It's really, my dad told me, you're not going to make any friends in wrestling. You're going to make a lot of acquaintances. So I'm absolutely trepidatious and reluctant to say it, but I know it's true. What we've done is something we're gonna have a bond over for quite some time.
Cody, for me on the outside, I hear all the stories about politics and there are no friends in wrestling. Do you feel like that's kind of moved and that kind of era is gone past, is part of the past, and in the future you can develop these friendships in this community?
I don't know. I mean, wrestling is still wrestling in terms of egos and selfishness and company lines and politics and all that. It just, sure, it's possible, but you have to be really self-aware. And that's like a thing that's happening more than ever in wrestling, is folks being self-aware, not being controlled by the fear of being fired, or the fear of not doing what somebody said versus what was in your gut. And I think being self-aware, then you're self-aware of all your flaws, and you're self-aware of all the things that you can do right. That's what's, conductive to build these friendships and partnerships. I think the most important thing, me, Matt, Nick, Kenny, Hangman, Marty, we may be friends, but honestly, the most important thing is that we're a team. And it's been a minute since there was a genuine team, that the interest of the team is considered every time. Individuals acting collectively and trying to go out there and have the best match of the night. So one of the most important things is that we stay a team.
Cody, if you were to depart from Ring of Honor, who is the guy on the roster that you can see stepping up and taking Cody Rhodes' spot?
The guy I like the least, and the guy that you probably in this moment like the least, and that is Flip Gordon. He just shouldn't have been in the position he's in. He shouldn't be there. It's too soon. So much inexperience, but God-given talent and incredible work ethic, and the thing that eludes most wrestlers, a connection with the audience. I may think Flip is the biggest loser on the planet, but he has a connection with the audience, and you'll hear him tonight. You'll hear him tomorrow night. I mean, it's Flip. And I don't know how we got there and how I'm openly saying this without wanting to punch my own self, but it's Flip Gordon.
That's going to be the guy that's saying I quit tomorrow night.
Well, I'm not saying he's going to win.
I've seen your relationship with Flip, and let's forget about me and Flip for a second. What is it about Flip that you find so intriguing and interesting, and why do you think he has such a bright future?
I think he's got a bright future because he already has an open mind. Wrestling, especially early in your career, it's hard to have an open mind. You have these hard-ass trainers who tell you exactly how you're supposed to do things. You have these old-timers who, pretty much bury everything the modern-day wrestler likes to do in the ring, and it's really easy to be persuaded. But even Flip, who's been around Matt and Nick, who's been around plenty of folks and kind of gone around the independent scene domestically and worldwide, he's always kept an open mind. And that's huge to learning. He's just learning at a rate that's faster than everybody else. And maybe it's he's in there with the best guys, but he's learning at a rate that's faster than everybody else. There's a connection with the audience, a passion for this, and there's just the thing. The thing we can't define is there, and he's as dumb as a rock. I mean, he's Montana dumb is what I like to say. He's just dumb, but the people love him, and he's really made me a fan. I don't tell him ever, but he's made me a fan.
You know, Cody, I say on this show all the time that to me, you're the wrestler of 2018. And I've said it before. I'm not just saying that because you're on the air. Bully will tell you. I've been saying it for quite some time now. And I don't think I'm alone in saying that. I think a lot of people will agree that you are the wrestler of 2018. And it's funny, 2 years ago, I don't know if anybody would be saying that. Do you feel that you've proved a lot of people wrong over the last 24 months?
I think I would say so. I think I thought I proved most people wrong right out the gate with when I left from WWE. But in wrestling, it does take time. My dad always used to say it'd take a year for a guy to get over, a full year. It's going to take for this guy to get over if you're starting him on that path. So it's taken time, and it's less about proving people wrong, more about proving myself right. But if I'm in just the discussion, even if most people don't think, oh, he's wrestler of the year. I mean, there's Kenny Omega and there's Seth Rollins. There's the Young Bucks. There's guys who are doing night in, night out like we are, and that just to be in that contention means we're going in the right direction. I'd like to be in the same spot in December next year, talking to you again. It was a very good year. If I'm not wrestler of the year, I hope I'm businessman of the year, just because that was something that I really prided myself upon was, hey man, stop working so hard on this and start working smarter. And that's where All In, and I was able to really sink my claws into what I wanted that to be from a presentation standpoint, and what I wanted that to mean to the fans, and what I wanted the weekend to mean to them. And that's something I'm more proud of than any match I had this year, was how I was able to start conducting business, you know, and not be just an outlaw wrestler anymore.
Cody, hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what happened with Matt Hardy and his creation of the Broken Universe and, you know, Broken Matt Hardy, and how it was presented in the WWE. Big if, you were ever to go back to the WWE, would you be confident that they would allow you to be the version of Cody Rhodes that you've become in the past year to year and a half?
For sure. Whenever I've had discussions about going back, and people are like, oh, they'd ruin you, or they'd screw the booking up, or they get on the real meta level inside with it, I disagree, because I walked once before. And it's not that I'm saying, hey, if you screw me over, I'm going to walk again. But what it says is, don't tell me what to do. I will do what I do. That's what you're investing in. So if WWE was to invest in me, great. You don't tell me how to play my music then. And I know that sounds ludicrous. I know that from having been backstage, there's writers and there's producers and there's all this. Great. I'm not interested in that. I'm open to collaboration for sure, that there's some level of talent that brings you here. But if WWE was to invest in me, then they get me. They don't get their version of me. They get me. So I have no fear of what that looks like, a return to WWE or anything like that, because I know exactly what I'm giving them. And if Vince or Hunter didn't like it, okay, fire me. That's the best I can tell you, because I'm only going to give you what you invested in. But I like to grow, and I have the passion for the industry already, so my intention is not ever to stay the same. But I'm not interested in being told how to play my hit songs.
What you're talking about, I know we're talking about a hypothetical situation here, but what you're saying is you'd almost have to go in with creative control.
The words creative control are so, they could mean so many things, but yeah, I mean, hypothetical, if you show up on day one, the Monday Night Raw, and here comes this, human hat rack walking up to you telling you he's going to give you your promo for the night, it's polite and simple, and it's no thank you.
Wow.
It's no thank you. That's, I don't, and when I say that, there's so many folks who are like, gosh, that's insane. It's not. If you invest in the wrestler, that's what you're investing in. Let them go out there and be that. And if you're unhappy with it, hit the road. There's no fear anymore of being fired. I've been fired technically once before,
Have they showed that interest? Have they made you an offer?
You know, I can't say necessarily. I'm sorry.
Cody, just remember who asked you that question. It wasn't me.
You're right. No, it was not. It was not you. And I can't say at this point. Everything's kind of
Thanks,
been
Bully.
closed doors. I'm sorry. Maybe we can talk about it more at the cigar party.
Well, I mean, and the last question from me, and it's a tough question to ask, and I hope you can be as honest as possible because, again, it's not an easy question to ask. Sure. Is there going to be a bar at this Smoke and Mirrors thing this afternoon?
The hard questions. Yes, there's a bar. You get a free drink. You get 2 appetizers. You get 2 cigars. It's all on me and Frankie. So the bar is open. Don't
Again,
overdo it.
all right, that's at the Soho Cigar Bar this afternoon at 2:30. I know I will be there with Alex Metz and Cody. I got to be honest, man, this has been an amazing 30 minutes. We appreciate the time and I can't wait to have you on when you win Wrestler of the Year and the Busted Open Awards.
Oh man, I can't wait to be on. It's always nice talking to you.